Hello, everybody. How is everything with all of you? Studying, I suppose. Yes. We are ready with Model Test 3. Shall I start the quiz? Many people are still joining. So, we have more questions today. I will deal with the questions and teach you a little bit. Which of the following quotes is not by Geoffrey Chaucer? Patience is a conquering virtue. What is better than wisdom? If gold rusts, what will iron do? For love's law is out of rule. Tell me, which of these is not a quote by Geoffrey Chaucer? Patience is a conquering virtue is by Chaucer. What is better than wisdom is also by Chaucer. If gold rusts, what will iron do is famously by Chaucer. For love's law is out of rule is a statement made by Gower. John Gower it is. Will you remember? It is John Gower. These are famous lines from Chaucer, remember. If gold rusts, what will iron do is famous. You know that it is a statement made by the parson. Next, Chaucer's short poem, Fortune. Have you heard of that one? Chaucer's short poem, Fortune. It is in the form of a debate. It is a poem in the form of a debate. What is this referring to? Is it the Earl of Warwick, the Earl of York, Duke of York, Duke of Lancaster, or King Richard II? Which of these characters is famously referred to here? It is the Duke of Lancaster. Did you know this poem, Fortune? It is a debate between a plaintiff and the character Fortune. It's a famous work. Okay, you should know it. Next, the prologue of Pious Plowman by William Langland opens in dash. Where does the prologue of Pious Plowman open? Guys, where does the prologue of Pious Plowman open? It opens in a famous place. What is it? It is Malvern Hills. Malvern Hills. Remember, it is on Malvern Hills. The narrator is standing and there is a tower of truth on one side, a dungeon of wrong on the other side. He is narrating his dream vision one by one. He is waking up there and then dreaming again waking up like that. a series of dream visions appear. Will you remember, guys? Malvern Hills. Did I mark the previous answer? Yes. John Wycliffe was a dash priest. That is an easy one because he critiqued or criticized the corruption in the church. So naturally he must be Catholic because he came before Reformation. In the time of John Wycliffe, there is no Anglican church. Anglican church came later. John Wycliffe was a Catholic priest. He reformed the Catholic church. He is called the Morning Star of Reformation. Henna? Morning Star of Reformation. He was not Protestant because there was no Protestantism at that time. He was a Catholic. Protestantism came later. Got it, guys? Now you should not make a mistake. All right. Which of these works by John Lydgate was published last? Which of these works by John Lydgate was published last? Remember, Siege of Thebes or Story of Thebes and Troy book came early. After at least 10 years came The Fall of the Princess. Troy book or Siege of Thebes came early. After at least 10 years came The Fall of the Princess. Will you remember? Don't make a mistake, okay? John Lydgate, he was also a priest. Marshalsea prison for debtors occurs in which of these novels by Charles Dickens? I will give you a clue. Shall I give you a clue? The protagonist is born in Marshalsea prison. To bolo. Protagonist is born in Marshalsea prison. She is also brought up there. It is Little Dorrit. What is the name of the protagonist? Amy Dorrit. Born in Marshalsea prison. Will you remember, guys? Amy Dorrit. Then, Life's Little Ironies is a dash by dash. Do you know? Life's Little Ironies. Have you heard of it? Reminding you to please like the video, guys. Will you please like the video? Yes. Life's Little Ironies is a short story collection by Thomas Hardy. Did you know Thomas Hardy brought out 3 collections of short stories? Wessex Tales, A Group of Noble Dames. First one is Wessex Tales. Then A Group of Noble Dames. Then Life's Little Ironies. It is a short story collection by Thomas Hardy. 3 short story collections were there. Wessex Tales, A Group of Noble Dames, Life's Little Ironies. Live the wonderful life that is in you. Let nothing be lost upon you. Be always searching for new sensations. Be afraid of nothing. Where can this be? This is the philosophy of aestheticism. So know everybody, this is the philosophy of aestheticism. Live the wonderful life that is in you. Let nothing be lost upon you. Be always searching for new sensations. Be afraid of nothing. These lines, of course, occur in The Picture of Dorian Gray. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. ठीक है? Very good. Next. Which of the following works by Shaw, G.B. Shaw, got its title from Virgil's Aeneid? Today I taught this in NTA Net course. Are my NTA Net students here? Tell me, which of the following works by Shaw got its title from Virgil's Aeneid? Ayyo, spelling mistake. Bolo, it is Arms and the Man. Tell me, what is the opening line of Aeneid? Of arms and the man I sing. Of arms and the man I sing. Of arms and the man I sing. And that is made fun of in G.B. Shaw's Arms and the Man. Arms means weapons. Man is the hero. G.B. Shaw is making fun of Arms and the Man I Sing means G.B. Shaw is making fun of weapons or war and the hero. Next, Maurya, a grief-stricken widow and mother of 8 children, is the principal character in the play. Maurya is the principal character in which play? The playboy of the Western world. The playboy of the Western world. Maurya loses all her sons in the sea. Maurya loses all her sons in the ocean. Everybody dies drowning. Her husband and father-in-law also die. It is the story of Riders to the Sea. In the play, Maurya's 2 sons, Michael and Bartley die. Michael and Bartley are Maurya's sons who die in the play. Will you remember, everybody? Then, next question. This poem opens with an offering. Glory be to God for dappled things. Hopkins is praising God and thanking him in this poem. He is thanking him for all the dappled things. This is one of Hopkins's curtal sonnets. This is one of Hopkins's curtal sonnets. Which is the curtal sonnet? Which is this curtal sonnet? Bolo? Yes, it is Pied Beauty. Pied Beauty, peas and ash boughs. Pied Beauty, peas and ash boughs. These are the 3 curtal sonnets of G.M. Hopkins. Curtal sonnets have 10.5 lines. 10.5 lines. Which one among the following is not true about Thomas Hardy's poem, The Darkling Thrush? Which of these is not true about Darkling Thrush? It was originally titled The Ruined Maid. It is about a day in winter in the countryside. It is included in Hardy's Poems of the Past and the Present. The poem begins with, I leaned upon a coppice gate. So now, The Ruined Maid is another poem. On a Century's Deathbed, that is the original title of Darkling Thrush. On a Century's Deathbed. The Ruined Maid is another poem. Darkling Thrush originally called On a Century's Deathbed. Then Leda and the Swan, The Mother of God, The Magi, The Second Coming. These poems by W.B. Yeats are known as Leda and the Swan, Mother of God, The Magi, The Second Coming. They are known as Annunciation poems. Where, what do you mean by Annunciation? Announcing. Poems announcing a new birth. Poems announcing a new birth. That is the meaning of Annunciation poems. Poems announcing a new birth. Okay, it is not always a good birth. It is sometimes the birth of Antichrist. It is also the birth of a bad age. Did you understand? Thou hast committed fornication, but that was in another country, and besides, the wench is dead. Which poem by T.S. Eliot has this epigraph from the Jew of Malta? One poem by T.S. Eliot has an epigraph from Jew of Malta. Do you know which is that poem? Which of these poems by T.S. Eliot has an epigraph from Jew of Malta? It is Portrait of a Lady. Portrait of a Lady. Portrait of a Lady has an epigraph from Christopher Marlowe's play, The Jew of Malta. Remember? T.S. Eliot's poem. Will you remember? Now, in which play by John Galsworthy does the character Wister, a detective, appear? Detective. Must use your common sense, it will be correct. In which play by John Galsworthy is Wister the detective a character? It is in Justice. Justice is the play where William Falder is punished and he is imprisoned for forging a check. And he commits suicide. Wister the detective appears here. Isn't it correct? Is it strife? No, right? I think it is justice only. Then, he was a writer of the Jacobean age. His works are marked by a fusion of passionate feeling and logical argument. Who is this writer? He wrote Jealousy, Love's Progress, Love's War. Do you know the writer? The Anagram. Which is the poet? Who is the poet? The poet is John Donne. Correct. John Donne is a Jacobean writer. He combined his works with passionate feeling and logical argument. Passionate feeling and logical argument. Isn't it? That is called unification of sensibility. Passionate feeling and logical argument is called unification of sensibility. John Donne. Isn't it? Jealousy, Love's Progress, Love's War, the Anagram. Identify the correct sequence of the poems of Alexander Pope. Do you know the chronological order? What is the chronological order? First, he wrote pastorals. First, Pope wrote pastorals. In which year? Pastorals came in 1709. Then Windsor Forest. Then Essay on Criticism. 1711. First pastorals. Then Windsor Forest. Then Essay on Criticism. I will write here, then no confusion. 1709. Essay on Criticism is 1711. Windsor Forest is 1713. And Moral Essays is in the 1730s. It was not 1 year, many years. Over many years it was written. 1730s. So, it is 2314. Ayyo. 2314. Okay, 2314. Then, this poet was born in 1608. In 1628, he wrote the earliest of his English poems on the death of a fair infant dying of a cough. His first Latin elegy was addressed to Diodati. Identify the author. Identify the author. Who was born in 1608 and who published on the death of a fair infant dying of a cough? It is John Milton, indeed. Very good. John Milton. Very good. Next, Hesperides. Hesperides. Tell me, 1648. A book of poetry by Robert Herrick. Hesperides is a book of poetry by Robert Herrick. It is his magnum opus. What does the title refer to? What is the meaning of Hesperides? Do you know? Meaning of Hesperides. Hesperides means nymphs of the evening in Greek mythology. Hesperides means nymphs of the evening in Greek mythology. Will you remember? By Robert Herrick. Arrange the following poems of Tennyson chronologically. Tennyson's poems. Do you remember the years? Break, Break, Break. In Memoriam. Maud, a monodrama. Tithonus. Do you know what is the year of Break, Break, Break? It came after 10 years silence. In Princess, 10 years silence. 1842, he broke silence. In Memoriam, famously written published in 1850. Maud came in 1855. And Tithonus came even after that in 1860. So the answer is A, B, C, D. Okay, guys? Tennyson's poems A, B, C, D it is. That is Break, 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 In Memoriam, Maud, and Tithonus. Identify the incorrect statement about Elizabeth Barrett Browning's work. Her books are given here. Her poems are given. The Cry of the Children was published in Blackwood's magazine. Is it correct? Now, a musical instrument was published in Cornhill magazine. Is it correct? Aurora Lay is written in octosyllabic couplets. Is definitely wrong. Aurora Lay was written in blank verse. Aurora Lay written in octosyllabic couplets is wrong. It is written in blank verse. Will you remember, guys? Aurora Lay is a novel, a verse novel by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. 3 Hours After Marriage is a collaborative work of 3 Hours After Marriage. Who wrote it? It is John Arbuthnot, Alexander Pope, John Gay. So ABC. John Arbuthnot, Alexander Pope and John Gay. ABC. Then, how many poems are included in the collection Carmen del Nostro by Richard Crashaw? Carmen del Nostro. Did you know? It is a collection by Richard Crashaw. Important collection. Even though number of poems is not important, the title is important. Richard Crashaw's Carmen del Nostro. Carmen del Nostro by Richard Crashaw. Has 33 poems. Which of the following works by Robert Browning? Which of these works by Robert Browning is inspired by The Tempest? Which of these works by Robert Browning is, of course, Caliban upon Setebos. Caliban upon Setebos is natural theology on the island. That is the subtitle. Caliban is talking about his goddess Setebos. Okay? Then, it is a satire on Prime Minister Robert Walpole. So now, which of these is a satire on Prime Minister Robert Walpole? It's a political satire. Lucy and Polly are characters. The sequel is called Lucy. Array, now you will know. One character is modeled on the historical character Jonathan Wilde. Identify the work. It is The Beggar's Opera. Who wrote Beggar's Opera? By John Gay. Modeled on Prime Minister Robert Walpole. And Beggar's Opera was written at the insistence of Swift. The action of Long Day's Journey into Night takes place in which month of 1912? Do you know in which month it is taking? One day is the setting. Long Day's Journey into Night is set on one day in the month of 1912. Which month? It is August. It is August. August 1912. Who among the following is... What is happening in Long Day's Journey into Night? Who wrote it? Eugene O'Neill. By Eugene O'Neill. Henna? What is happening there? One story. One family is slowly deteriorating. One family is slowly deteriorating. It is coming to an end. Mother is a drug addict. Son is a drunkard. It is a semi-autobiographical play by Eugene O'Neill. Semi-autobiographical play by Eugene O'Neill. Then, who among the following is the widowed proprietor of the saloon and the rooming where the action of Iceman Cometh takes place? There is a saloon and also lodging is there, rooming. And Iceman Cometh is set in that place. And what is the name of the proprietor of that saloon? It is Harry Hope. Harry Hope's saloon. Who wrote Iceman Cometh? Eugene O'Neill. Other characters are Larry Slade, a very important character in Iceman Cometh. Larry Slade. Then Hickey. Hickey, will you remember? Hickey. Then, ye bolo, which among the following is not true about Look Back in Anger? Act 1 opens on a dismal April Sunday afternoon in Jimmy and Alison's crammed attic in the Midlands. Correct. It is indeed a dismal April Sunday afternoon. We see Alison in her attempts at ironing. Correct. Alison belongs to upper middle class background. Correct. Alison belongs to upper middle class. Act 2 opens on Wednesday is wrong. Wednesday is wrong because in Look Back in Anger, there are 3 Sundays. Look Back in Anger is set on 3 Sundays. Will you remember? 3 Sundays. So that is wrong. Okay, guys. Will you remember? So Look Back in Anger is set on 3 Sundays. Then, Which character among the following? Did you like the video, guys? Are the questions good? Are you enjoying? I hope you liked the questions. Which character among the following remains unseen throughout the glass menagerie? And we see his or her picture hanging in the living room of the Wingfields. In the Wingfields family, this person's picture is hanging, and this man is unseen. It is Mr. Wingfield, the father. It is Mr. Wingfield, the father. Who among the following has criticized a passage to India's Orientalist depiction of India? Who wrote a famous book against passage to India? Right, against the Orientalist depiction of India and its use of radicalized bodies, especially in the case of Aziz. Aziz is looked at as a sexual object. It is Sara Suleri. Sara Suleri. Which female writer or writers has or have not been mentioned by Virginia Woolf in a room of one's own? Did Virginia Woolf write about Aphra Behn? Yes. Did Virginia Woolf write about Jane Austen? Yes. Did she write about Elizabeth Gaskell? No. She also wrote about Anne Finch. Will you remember? Virginia Woolf wrote about Aphra Behn, Jane Austen and Anne Finch. The academic research of A.K. Ramanujan spanned how many languages? The academic research of A.K. Ramanujan spread over how many languages? It is 5 languages. Which are the 5 languages? English, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, and Sanskrit. English, Kannada, Tamil, Telugu and Sanskrit. 5 languages he knew and wrote about. Will you remember? Okay. Name A.K. Ramanujan's collection of poetry published in 1971. Look up A.K. Ramanujan, very important. It is Relations. It's a very important collection. Relations. Then, Jayanta Mahapatra is the first Indian poet to dash. Jayanta Mahapatra is the first Indian poet to win a Sahitya Academy Award for English poetry. The first poet to win a Sahitya Academy Award for English poetry. Then, Jayanta Mahapatra has authored 27 books of poems, out of which 7 are in. Jayanta Mahapatra wrote in English and Odia. Jayanta Mahapatra wrote 27 books, 20 in English, 7 in Odia. ठीक है? Mulk Raj Anand is known as the Dash of India for his works rooted in social realism. Mulk Raj Anand is known as the Dash of India. What is he? Charles Dickens of India. Mulk Raj Anand is the Charles Dickens of India. Arundhati Roy has expressed her support for dash. Arundhati Roy has expressed her support for dash. Did she express her support for Kashmiri separatism? For anti-globalization? And it is both A and B. Arundhati Roy expressed her support for both A and B. Kashmiri separatism and anti-globalization. Identify Arundhati Roy's non-fiction work published by Flamingo in 2002. Arundhati Roy's non-fiction work, The Algebra of Infinite Justice. The Algebra of Infinite Justice. Which work did Rushdie refer to as his most researched book? Which work This work is set in Mughal Empire, Iranian dynasty, Safavid dynasty, Turkish Ottoman Empire, Western world. Oh my God, this work is spread across the world. Rushdie had to study the history of the entire world. It is the Enchantress of Florence. It is the Enchantress of Florence. Then, in dash, English replaced Persian as the official language of the East India Company. In which year did English replace Persian as the official language of the East India Company? English replaced Persian. It is the same year as English Education Act, 1835. Then the 3-language formula that provided for the study of English, Hindi and modern Indian languages. And one modern Indian language, any one modern Indian language, children have to study. This was formulated in India for the first time by University Education Commission. First time 3-language formula came with University Education Commission. Indian Words in English is a very famous book on Indo-British cultural and linguistic relations. Who wrote this book on Indo-British cultural and linguistic relations? It is G. Subba Rao. He was a very major teacher from Vice Chancellor of Andhra University. G. Subba Rao. Very famous book. It is from here that they will ask Indian loan words. Who among the following is not associated with narratology? Definitely. Jonathan Culler is not a narratologist. He is a structuralist. And he is not a narratologist. The others are correct. You don't have to know these names, but you should know Jonathan Culler is not a narratologist. Concepts like deterritorialization, reterritorialization are associated with. Do you know what it means? In our society, in knowledge or society or culture, etc., many times our ideas will become completely changed and they will get reterritorialized. Ideas will change completely and get reterritorialized, such as when Sigmund Freud came, our understanding of the human mind changed completely. Because of capitalism, our ideas will change completely. Deterritorialization and reterritorialization it is called. And it was originated by Deleuze and Guattari. Deleuze and Guattari. Okay, Deleuze and Guattari. Which among the following is not a part of epistemic violence? Gayatri Spivak talked about epistemic violence. Which among the following is not a part of epistemic violence? Spivak discussed the concept in her essay, Can the Subaltern Speak? That is correct. Spivak talked about epistemic violence in Can the Subaltern Speak? Correct. It refers to the violence done by the subaltern. No. Epistemic means violence of knowledge. Powerful people control our knowledge. Powerless people's knowledge is controlled by powerful people. So this is wrong. Violence done by subaltern is wrong. It damages a group's ability to speak and be heard. Correct. Hegemonic ideology invalidates the lived experience of the subaltern. Hegemony it has. Epistemic violence is hegemony. And this is oppressing the subaltern people. So that is correct. So it refers to the violence done by the subaltern class on the knowledge systems because of their ignorance and inaction. That is not right. This is wrong. Others are correct. What is the Derridian term that refers to the gap or lacuna between what a text means to say and what it is constrained to mean. The Derridian term that refers to the gap or lacuna between what a text means to say and what it is constrained to mean. A text is trying to say something, but the text cannot say it. Then it creates a gap or lacuna. A gap or lacuna called aporia. Derridian term for what a text means to say and what it is constrained to mean. That gap is called aporia. Aporia. Then, which among the following is not true about the term third space by Edward Soya? 1 minute, मैं visible बनाती हूँ. Soya was greatly influenced by André Lefebvre's idea of space. Correct. André Lefebvre's idea of space. Soya was influenced by. The first and second spaces are different and conflicting, like the everyday space of home and the academic space of schools. Edward Soya. Listen, we'll read all this. The first and second spaces are different and conflicting. Third space is the hybrid space that originates between first and second space. It refers to a space where the dominant ideologies can suppress resistance and counter discourses. Hybrid space is correct. Third space is a hybrid space. First and second spaces are different and conflicting. This is wrong. It is good. Third space is a good space. There suppression nahi hota. Third space is a good idea. There suppression and things like that don't happen. Will you remember? In third space, suppression doesn't happen. This is absolutely wrong. Third space is where resistance originates. It doesn't get suppressed. I think there is a confusion here. This is actually about Homi Bhabha, isn't it? This is wrong. This is wrong actually. I'm so sorry. I did not do it rightly. I will do one thing. This is actually, these three are actually about Homi Bhabha space. Here it is given Edward Soya. I will explain, guys. Edward Soya talked about third space as a space of lived reality. And Homi Bhabha's space is actually, this is Bhabha. I will write Bhabha here, okay? Then you will understand. This is also Bhabha. Bhabha, correct. And then this is also about Bhabha. Sorry, mistake hai. But this is wrong. Bhabha wrong. This is Bhabha correct. This is also Bhabha correct. So sorry. Edward Soya talked about third space. Let me explain and teach you. Edward Soya talked about third space means in Edward Soya, space seen from a skyscraper is first space. Space seen in a photograph is second space. Third space is lived reality, lived space. Let me explain. In Edward Soya, space seen from a skyscraper or a aeroplane, that is first space. Second space means space seen in a photograph or representation. Third space is lived space. In Homi Bhabha, third space is like back bench of school, canteen. First and second space, like everyday space of home, academic space, work space, they are all different and conflict. They are very ordered spaces. But third space is where resistance happens. Third space is like backbench of school. Third space is like, what can I say, canteen in a school or office, where resistance originates. That is third space. Third space is hybrid space. It originates between first and second space. Home space is first space. Workspace is second space. Did you understand? I am truthful. I don't want to cheat you. I want to say I made a mistake. This is a mistake. I made a mistake. Sorry. Okay, I am not a cheat. So this is Edward Soya. These two are about Homi Bhabha. Resistance, I will write here. Resistance originates in Bhabha's third space. Will you remember now? Is it clear now? First space in Edward Soya means seen from a skyscraper. Second space in Edward Soya means seen in a photograph. Okay? And third space in Edward Soya means lived space. When you actually live there, that becomes third space. Alright? Then, in Homi Bhabha, first space is home, second space is workspace, third space is the space where resistance originates. Resistance originates in third space. Did you understand? Okay. Now, it is not actually because of teaching, but because of students' demands and pressure and exams and 6%, all this is big pressure on me. Teaching alone I can do 24 hours. But all these other things are like too much. Students can't understand. Students don't like this. They are protesting. They are complaining. Oh my God. My God, it is too much on me as a person, even though I am there with you. Now, the essay, the personal is political, which became a famous dictum of the second wave feminism. The essay that became famous in second wave feminism. Who wrote it? It is a very famous essay. It became the famous dictum or manifesto of second wave feminism. It is written by Carol Hunich. Carol Hunich. Then, what is conceived space according to André Lefebvre? Conceived space, if you don't know, I will tell you, it is representational space. Conceived space is representational space. Space that is representational. André Lefebvre, important figure in cultural studies. Okay? Then, consider the following statements. Intersectionality was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw. Correct. She used it to highlight the need to include different aspects like race, class, sexuality, along with gender. What do you say? Answer is both A and B are true. Intersectionality was coined by Kimberly Crenshaw. And she used this concept to highlight aspects like race, class, sexuality, etc. along with gender. Will you remember? Remember, intersectionality is a very important concept. Yes. Somebody was asking me what is the difference between genotext and phenotext in Kristeva. Genotext is like Cora. It is very fluid. It is not fixed. Genotext is a very fluid, semiotic concept. Whereas phenotext is concrete. It is fixed. It has the communicative function. Phenotext is for communication, it is ordered, fixed. Whereas genotext is a very fluid, semiotic concept. Did you understand? Phenotext and genotext, concepts by Julia Kristeva. Is that clear, Kirti Tiwari? Yes. So, thank you very much. We have done 50 questions, model questions today for Karnataka Assistant Professor exam. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. If you want, you can join our Karnataka model test group. We have started model tests online. If you want, I will post the link in the description of the video. Okay, thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.